A descriptive paragraph is a paragraph that gives the readers a vivid image of a scene by using descriptive and detailed languages. Often, the author will use various verbs and adjectives to visualize an image. The purpose of this task is to have the readers to visualize a scene, event, or a person. The visualization can help the authors to bring the readers into the world of the novel or any other kind of literary works. Descriptive writing offers the writers a lot of creative freedom. They may have recourse to descriptive and figurative language to create a rich atmosphere, a discernible ambience, and detectable environments, characters, and emotions. The aim is to draw a vibrant and touching image in the reader's mind. The main issue that is associated with the descriptive passage is transformation. Transformation is often referred to a spirit, which is often symbolized as a person in the book, or even sometimes transformation just refers to a person's transformation, such as the book Jane Eyre. When trying to specify the transformation, the author always uses descriptive passages to describe the features of the characters, such as languages, actions, and mental activity, before and after the transformation to form a sort of compare and contrast. Therefore, a lot of descriptive passages include descriptive images to highlight the transformation. There are about 5 key formal and stylistic features one might expect from this text type. First is concrete language. The diction is always important for the author to use, as the choice of precise and descriptive language is critical as the author attempts to create an image or scene in the reader's mind. The second is the vivid imagery. It is to paint a vivid picture for the reader, which note that it can be also sensory, not just visual. And third is the figurative comparisons, including personification, simile, and metaphor. The fourth will be modifiers, also called as diction, which is the use of verbs and adverbs to describe the scene. And lastly, the perspective, which plays a crucial role in determining the tone and atmosphere of the passage.
Detailed analysis on the stylistic features and sensorial descriptions shown in the text should be included in a commentary, as these are the essence of descriptive writing. Let's look at an example and analyze this descriptive paragraph. The sun was right overhead and it was very hot. The sand would almost catch fire. The deep blue sea was merging with the sky. The sea was so clear that I could see colorful fish swimming between my feet. The text is written in first-person perspective, with the speaker describing their own experience of the scene. This creates a sense of intimacy, as the reader feels like they are experiencing the setting alongside the speaker. The writer uses vivid imagery, furthering this experience. For example, the description of the sun being right overhead and the sands being hot enough to almost catch fire creates a sense of heat and intensity. The description of the sea as deep blue and clear allows the reader to imagine the color and clarity of the water. The image of colorful fish swimming between my feet brings the reader into the scene and allows them to imagine the experience of being in the water. In summary, descriptive writing is a type of writing that aims to bring to life what the writer is imagining in their head.
And today we're going to talk about opinion columns. So an opinion column is a feature in newspapers and magazines that presents a personal and subjective viewpoint on a controversial topic. The writer takes a stance, proposes a solution, and expresses their opinions in a persuasive, powerful, and convincing way. The content is not meant to be impartial or objective, but rather reflective of the writer's personal and subjective viewpoint. So here's an opinion column example that we chose to talk about, and you guys can pause the video to read a brief summary on its content.
In the Water on Mars example, a political cartoon is included. It offers comedic relief as the author writes in a disappointed manner and comments on the worst in every situation. The article cites studies suggesting fish populations have halved and coral reefs would be gone by 2050. This is similar to a parent warning their children about going down the wrong path. All of this is done to get readers to question their perspective on attempting to find water on Mars when Earth is failing. Opinion columns are often trying to convince the reader of what's best for the author. Hence, if the author is politically charged, some of their influence may rub off on the viewer. The perspective is usually one-sided, so it's less accessible for the audience to find counter-arguments, which often divides the audience. This article may be seen as leftist on the political spectrum as it fights to address the failing conditions of Earth. Humor reveals itself when the author mentions an egg tray for your fridge that syncs with your phone to let you know how many eggs are left, as well as the one-sided, disappointed tone when the author says, "Yet we install clunky toilets and showers that gush like waterfalls."
So moving on, in terms of formal and stylistic features, the writer's opinion is often stated clearly in the first paragraph. The tone can be formal, conversational, or sarcastic, and arguments and anecdotes are used to support the writer's stance and make their arguments more persuasive. Body paragraphs present arguments and counter-arguments, with a focus on making the writer's opinion clear and convincing. So in the water on Mars example, the writer starts by posing a question about the existence of intelligent life on Earth. And to make his point, metaphor is used in Martian scientists searching for intelligent life on Earth, which highlights the irony of our fascination with discovering life on other planets while neglecting life on Earth. Moreover, a rhetorical question is employed asking, think of what would change if we valued terrestrial water as much as we value the possibility of water on Mars, to emphasize the disparity in our priorities. And lastly, emotive language is used with words such as lay waste and contaminate it to evoke negative emotions and emphasize the harm caused by our actions.
So in conclusion, how should you analyze an opinion column? Take it apart piece by piece with the title. Make sure to comment on the dramatic inconsideration and fluffy argument that really doesn't do much, and disassemble the ironic points and the evidence associated or the lack thereof. And don't forget to include the ambiguous conclusion that leaves you questioning the takeaways.
Scientific articles are publications that are based on evidence supporting some kind of scientific concept. They are usually used to support a hypothesis from research done before, and they describe a discovery as a result of scientific methods.
The main purpose of scientific articles is to inform and share knowledge revolved around scientific concepts, findings, and developments, with a great amount of evidence included. Hopefully it's correct evidence. In supporting these findings and ideas, this may include simplifications of highly complex concepts depending on the intended audience, to ensure that the audience can understand the information.
While considering the text type, creativity, communication, and transformation can be represented as scientific articles communicate new and transformed ideas, connecting to the innovative and continuous world of science. Because of their purpose of sharing knowledge, scientific articles consist of informative features such as facts, data, statistics, and clear explanations. The use of scientific diction and language is used and described as specialist vocabulary. Those are those science-y words that are super technical and sometimes way too hard to understand. Also, you can find comparisons. Similes and comparisons are used to make complex ideas easier for an audience to visualize and understand. Visuals are also used in scientific articles such as photographs, diagrams, charts, and graphs, supporting and illustrating those scientific concepts. Lastly, a crucial feature is credibility. This includes the bibliography, source type, and the author of the piece. Research and quotations by experts make concepts far more credible, unlike something like Wikipedia, which you can edit. These are some of the significant features found in a scientific article.
Lastly, some things that students should consider, including when analyzing scientific articles, are the title, like what is the title article about? The credibility of the source, where is the information coming from? Can we trust their findings and ideas? The source type, because we're most likely not going to believe information from a TikTok some kid made about their thoughts on the moon. Use of vocab, is the vocab scientific? The use of data, graphs, statistics, images, like do they correlate with the article's information? Analyzing the bibliography, are the resources credible? And lastly, the speaker and the tone of the article. Is it formal and informative, or does the author have no idea of what they're talking about?
And those are the basics of a scientific article. Thank you for watching.
An informational text is a non-fiction writing, and it is less of a text type and more of a writing genre. They are intended to engage your mind and not your heart. They include encyclopedias, technical manuals, public service announcements, and cookbooks. Informational texts are generally written with the intention of informing the reader about a specific topic, stating mostly facts and not opinions, and unlike other fiction and non-fiction genres, informational texts do not use characters.
Information texts are deeply associated with communication and transformation of knowledge. Because of their most obvious features, they are non-fictional. They either directly transfer information to the viewers, like newspaper, magazine, poster, or lead the viewers to specific knowledge. Examples of it would be encyclopedia, textbooks, and papers. The features of information texts are that they are usually consist of informative elements, rhetorical devices rarely exist. They all involve some kind of knowledge. They are logical, persuasive, since their role is to inform and provide people factual information. From formal perspective, information texts are usually parallel. The length of the text varies according to the purpose. They tend to decrease the subjectivity involved to make the information more reliable.
Information text can be enhanced by the use of visuals, such as graphs, charts, and images. There should be an evaluation about whether the visuals are effective in conveying the information and whether they are appropriate for the intended audience. Information texts should present the facts objectively and avoid any subjective or emotional language that may bias the reader's understanding. The commentary should evaluate whether the text maintains objectivity throughout and whether the personal opinions or biases are expressed.
Advertisement is a persuasive text type that tries to convince and prove to you why you should purchase a product advertised. Within the element of advertisement, there are key factors that build the type of advertisement. These key factors are things like problem and benefit, image, testimonial, and advertising claims. The purpose of advertisement texts is to persuade and inform viewers and consumers about the product being advertised. The goal of the advertisement is to include as many positive facts about the product as possible. This informs as well as persuades viewers to purchase their product. When there is an entertainment component to the advertisement, people become more drawn and attracted to the product, in turn giving more attention and becoming more and more invested in the product by the second. I've become victim to this before by seeing an underwater 10-minute mask for oxygen mask. The advertisers used tropical reefs and fish to be a location of where the product was being showcased, and I proceeded to include tons and tons of benefits about the product. The ad made me feel like I needed this product, and I had to get it. When I showed it to other people, they made me realize that this isn't a good idea and that these people are tricking you and trying to persuade you to buy the product.
Advertising is associated with a diverse range of issues. For instance, perspective is a key component in advertising. With different perspectives, which is influenced by self-identity and culture, the effects of the advertisement can be diverse. Therefore, understanding the perspective of the target audience is extremely significant in terms of the establishment of advertisement. Furthermore, communication is the whole idea of advertising. Advertisement is generally considered as a public communication that promotes a product, service, brand, or event. The mode of communication represents the bridge between the product's customer and the organizer that manufactures the products. Hence, it demonstrates the importance of communication. Some key features of advertising includes problem and benefit, image, slogan and copy, association, testimonial, advertising claims, and persuasion. First of all, advertising heavily relies on supplies and needs. In order to determine the success of advertisement, it depends on its appealing to the desire of audience. Images are often used to promote this idea, especially in the modern advertisement. In addition, slogan and copy is also a way to emphasize on the image by creating short, catchy, memorable sentences that captures attention. Between the relationship between the products and the ads, it is often associated with some form of an abstract concept. For instance, an electric car advertising can be associated to the environmental saving. For an advertising to be convincing, testimonial is included. In many cases, adverts would provide satisfied quotations of the customers who had already used the products. Sometimes advertising claims such as scientific data and weasel words also makes the product sound more impressive to achieve a better convincing. All of the key features ultimately lead to the goal of persuading the audience. Even though the adverts might not sell a certain product, it persuades you to think about things and change your behavior.
What are the key formal and stylistic features one might expect from this text type? There's a bunch of key features expect from news report. First, masthead is basically the name of newspaper. For the headline, the choice of words in a headline is essential to the tone and angle of the story. Visual is just a picture to provide visual information for the reader. Copy is the main text of the article, then contains interview, bias from selection bias, to name calling, to the use of certain facts and statistics, and more. Lastly, for the figurative language, news reports are a rich source of metaphor, simile, hyperbole, and sensationalism, often distorting reality in some way. What are some things a student should be sure to include in their guided commentary on this text type? Headline has to be included in the news report to inform readers what it's about.